We're going live, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's not very often that we get to put the words value and no compromises right next to each other, but this build was actually inspired by a couple of things. So number one was the fact that AMD is giving gamers just amazing value without compromise with their Ryzen 3000 series processors. But that's not new, that's old news. What's new is their B550 chipset. So we did like an unboxing a little while ago, but I don't believe we've actually done a build showcasing what we imagine to be just a fantastic B550 build yet. So that is what we're doing today. We're using the Tough Gaming B550M Plus from ASUS. Did someone come through that door? No, never mind. We're using the Tough Gaming B550M Plus from ASUS. It's PCIe Gen 4, and that's hooked up to both the 16X slot and one of the M.2s. We're going to take full advantage of that, and it's an mATX motherboard, which means you're still going to be able to leverage PCI Express Gen 3 expansion in the form of your other PCI Express slots. Yes, because this was the other inspiration for this build. This is the Metalfish S5, a cheapo case that we found on AliExpress that is both mATX, like look how big this motherboard is relative to the case. It's both mATX and extremely affordable, and based on the pictures anyway, I've yet to take this thing out of the box, it seems like it should have adequate enough cooling for a pretty powerful gaming rig. So we're gonna load this thing up with an RTX 2060 and play some EVGA games. Sound pretty good? Because I think it sounds pretty good. You know what else I think sounds good? Hit it! MSI's MEG Z490 Ace ATX gaming motherboard supports 10th gen Intel Core processors, triple M.2 slots, and much, much more. Check it out today at the link in the video description. Without further ado, okay, I promise, it's not gonna take an hour this time. If you're following along at home, you will be able to build exactly this machine with no difficulty whatsoever by following the steps in this video. So we're gonna need our I/O shield. We're gonna need our M.2 mounting screws. You wanna come get a nice close-up of that for me, David? There's your M.2 mounting screws. We're gonna pre-mount those on the motherboard. You're gonna need the motherboard itself, and we're gonna take this anti-static bag, just put it in there. We're gonna just carefully and gently put it back in the box. Okay. I'm fine. I just got my happy juice here. Sorry, it was a pre-stream inside joke. Sorry, guys. All right, so I/O shield, M.2 screws. I'm actually gonna go ahead and mount these M.2 screws right now with my nifty-difty weird screwdriver. What is this weird screwdriver color and like this whole thing going on here? Why does he keep using the screwdriver? What is he getting at? No one knows, it's a mystery. All right, let's go ahead. Why is it 3D printed? Like, it's bizarre. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and pull off this M.2 heatsink. Hey, Jake, you don't happen to know the layout of this board. Is the heat-synced M.2 the Gen 4 one, or is it the other one? It kind of seems like it should be the other one. This is M.2.2 and M.2.1. Either way, I absolutely hate that motherboard manufacturers just have these screws like loose in a bag like this, because there's really no reason for it. They should just be pre-installed in the 80mm holes. See, right like this. Okay. And then they should just have the little screwy screw.
The top one is Gen 4.
The top one is Gen 4. So that's kind of bizarre that they include a cooler for the slower one. I'll have to have a little wordy word with the ASUS engineers about this. Not that it really makes a difference, because cooling your SSD is not going to have a performance impact outside of some pretty specialized server grade biz. But anyway, now I have done the right thing and I have pre-installed those little mounting screws there. So whoever uses this motherboard next, because cold hard truth is that's what we do with these computers. We build them and then we just tear them back down, is going to have all the mounting hardware exactly where they need it. Now, normally we try for these kinds of builds to actually install the hardware that we recommend, but today We're not going to do that. Do you mind flipping me to that overhead camera there, Jake? Oh yeah, he's gonna give me that keyboard in a second here, and then I'm gonna be able to flip it back and forth myself. Uh-oh, where did the screw go? See, this is why I hate that they're not pre-installed. So this Sabrent 2 terabyte NVMe drive is not necessarily what we would recommend at this particular price, but the point of the build we're doing right now is to kind of show off the capabilities of this hardware. So what you're looking at on the table here with a more reasonable SSD, like an Intel 660 or some QLC SSD from another brand, is just over $1,000 of raw gaming horsepower. But what's really cool about this build is that it is extremely flexible. So you don't have to put a Gen 4 SSD in it today. You can always upgrade to Gen 4 down the line. Sorry, it was 1, 2, and 9, and 10? 8 and 9, thank you. You can upgrade to Gen 4 down the line. In the same way, the CPU that we've gone with, so this is a Ryzen 5 3600X. You could absolutely go with this CPU. It is such a fantastic value. Or what you could do is you could treat yourself, pick up a 3900 XT or something along those lines, have a 12-core freaking processor, and with this configuration, you'd be ready to go. Oh, I did not switch. Oh, that's because that's number 2. I get it now. All right, so we're gonna go ahead, get the CPU installed here. It's always the same routine. So we've got our corner with the, there we go, corner with the golden triangle. Then we've got our corner with the less golden triangle, but definitely still a triangle. We're gonna pop those puppies together like that. 0 insertion force ZIF socket, so you don't wanna be mashing down on that. Wow, that is one of the loosest CPU sockets I think I have ever encountered. Even with the arm down, it's just like, oh no, never mind, it grabbed it this time. Oh, that was weird last time. Like those will still come out if you have like your thermal paste on there and you just pull a heatsink straight off like that. You want to make sure that you kind of twist it to break that suction. But for it to just come out in my hands like that, it was definitely not in there, right? All right, in terms of cooling, honestly, guys, we don't need anything special for a CPU like this if we're not trying to overclock or do anything crazy. So we're just going to be using an AMD stock cooler. I'll go ahead and get that installed. I promise you guys, oh, right. Okay, so normally this would have a thermal pad pre-installed. So I went, and my muscle memory was like, okay, I'm using stock cooler, on we go. You definitely need thermal compound, which is why I've got this, some Noctua NT-H2. Again, these CPUs run at such reasonable temps that if you're not planning to overclock, you really don't need to worry about it too much. All right, we're gonna go with kind of a long boy rice grain sized thermal paste application here. That should be plenty. And then AMD's got a super simple mounting mechanism they've been using for about, I don't know, like 15 years or whatever. So this one side, we're gonna pop down. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go the other way. So I'm gonna pop my side down like this, over here. Just push that down with my, really, really easy. See, really easy, not finicky at all. There we go. Okay, so we got that side popped down. They used to actually have a little like screwdriver hook, and the intention was for you to use your screwdriver to kind of pull it down onto the clip. But then a lot of people put screwdrivers through their motherboards, and they did away with that. But we're using the screwdriver today. All right. Did I accidentally have the? Nope, there we go. Just a little tight. So we're gonna lower the arm down here. Boom. There's your mounting pressure. I like to give it a little wiggle. Just kind of work the thermal paste out. This is a pretty viscous thermal paste, so it's probably not necessary, but at any rate, it's done now. Then we're gonna go ahead and plug in our CPU fan connector. I like tying it in a little knot. Go like this. Are you guys all having a wonderful Tuesday? I hope you are. I'm having a pretty good Tuesday. I'm not even looking at the chat right now. Test Me says, are you able to answer if the store will offer shipping from the UK? The customs fees are huge, so I can't really order anything. So the problem with opening up a location in the UK, aside from just the costs of opening up a location in the UK, is that there's all kinds of taxation implications on our side to having a physical presence in a given country. It's complicated enough with the US. We're not at the point where we're ready to start tackling overseas just yet, but who knows? As LTT Store continues to expand, you might see something like that from us in the future. It's far more likely that we'll try and find a way to get our merch listed on like Amazon in various parts of the world, but that's also an ongoing project, again, for taxation reasons. For our memory, we've gone with one of these nice little no-frills FlareX kits from G.SKILL. And when I say no frills, I don't mean no performance. So this is 3200 megahertz, C16. That's kind of your sweet spot in terms of price to performance right now. Thankfully, AMD does a great job even on their budget chipsets of supporting high-speed memory like this. We actually did a video about, I guess it went up about a week ago now, talking about how Intel considers running memory speed above their rated speed to be overclocking. And if you run an XMP profile, it can actually void your warranty if you report to Intel that, oh, my CPU died. By the way, I was running XMP. That really sucks. AMD has no such restrictions, so even though we're running their budget B550 chipset, we still get PCIe Gen 4 here. We still get reasonable support for high-speed USB, so we've got 4 USB 3.0 ports, or whatever, USB, I can't even keep track of the terminology for them now, whatever. These are 5 gigabit, and then we've got a couple of 10 gigabit ports down here, including a Type-C. Got a PS2 port on there still for some reason. I mean, I'm not knocking it. I like the PS2. I'm into it. But yes, support for 3200 megahertz, no problem. And it's so important these days. I mean, memory speed used to not even really matter that much not that long ago compared to getting an unlocked multiplier CPU and turning the CPU speed itself up. Whereas now, especially on the Intel side, those CPUs are shipping so close to the red line that memory overclocking can be the best way to actually get a little bit more performance out of them. Anyway, let's move on and have a look at the star of the show today, now that the motherboard is built up. Oh, sorry, I promised people would be able to follow along at home. Okay, here's how to install memory. Come on in, David. First, you line up the notch with the thing. There you go. See, you line that thing up. And you got the one side that doesn't open, and the one side that does open on a lot of stuff these days. Go ahead and pop that puppy in there. Just a little awkward like that. Push down on both sides. And you want to use the 2 color-coordinated slots that are farther from the CPU socket. As a general rule, you can always consult your manual if you want to be absolutely sure. I actually didn't check the capacity. I'm assuming it's 16 gigs. Yep, this is a 16 gig kit. So again, this is not, okay, it's not zero compromises, but this build has the potential to be basically zero compromises. I mean, if you wanted to throw, 16 gig DIMMs in there, you could have 64 gigs of RAM in this freaking thing. You could upgrade to a 16 core processor without actually changing pretty much anything else about it. This was the inspiration though. The thing that impressed me most about this case is that a lot of the time, these kind of specialty small form factor cases end up being really expensive because they're done in very, very small batches by kind of niche manufacturers. But this one is only about $100 on AliExpress. Oh, you can really see my camera in that, can't you? Hello camera. How you doing there, buddy? I'm gonna go ahead and prop this up with my water bottle here, lttstore.com. We got the new 40-ounce new 40-ounce water bottle. It's coming in at the same price as the old 20-ounce one. So if you're the kind of bloke or gal who likes to, suck back a lot of water at once, then this is definitely your jam. It can also be used to awkwardly prop up a case that you're trying to show people without horrible reflections. So I was really impressed that this thing is only about $100. And you might look at it and go, well, gee, that's not a lot of material for $100, but it's an aluminum case. That appears to be a glass side panel. The packaging is pretty decent for like an AliExpress special. Like it's a nice bouncy foam rather than a hard foam that's going to get kicked once by the courier and then kicked 7 more times by the courier when it's already broken. Got a nice little peel on there. Has that got both sides covered? Yep, okay. Shouldn't have any fingerprints or anything. Comes with a 92mm rear cooling fan. Got a fan filter. Oh, interesting. Do they really want you to... Oh, it's not magnetic. That's kind of a shame. So it's like just a 3M adhesive strip on here, so we'll have to put that on ourselves in a moment, I guess. And in terms of... Oh, yeah, right. There's no reflection. Thanks, David. That's an incredibly good point. All right, in terms of the internals, wow. All right, there's definitely some getting your money's worth element going on in there. The gauge of this power cable is not awe-inspiring, to say the least. What else we got going on in here? Here's our front USB 3. This is not the beefiest front USB 3 connector that I've ever seen either. We've got power switch, power LED with separate leads. That should be fine. And then our fan here has got a 3-pin connector and then a lead on to a 4-pin Molex that I'm just going to rip off because we're not going to use that. We're going to plug right into the motherboard there. All right, that's better. Oh, shoot. They left little tails on them that can short out. That's unfortunate. No, it's fine. We can just give it a little snip. That's what the doctor told me. It's just a little snip. Turns out it is actually still quite uncomfortable. In case anyone was wondering. Ooh. No regrets, though. No regrets. Okay. Unfortunately, that is a 2-pin fan connector. It doesn't even have an RPM sense. Wow, they really needed to save. This isn't even copper wiring. Like, this is aluminum wiring. They really needed to save that much cost for the rear fan. Hey, at least they've got these nice flexible SATA cables that seem to be included with the case, though. And then there's that kind of wimpy power connector right there. So in terms of how it all goes together, I guess we could consult the product page that Jake actually printed out for me, baby boomer style. I'm not sure if he's insulting me or legitimately trying to be helpful by printing out websites for me, but what do you think, David?
Can it be both?
Yeah, it could be both. Welcome to Metalfish Official Store! I'm assuming that the green highlighting means they're basically screaming at me, right?
Yeah.
Sound about right? Metalfish mainly produces ITX mini case, power supply, radiator, and other products. The ITX case is small and precise design. Sorry, I got a bit of shrieking across the internet caught in my throat there. More than 10 years experience, attention to process details. All right. So this puppy weighs only 2.23 kilograms. Wow, it's so light. I honestly would have thought it's even less than that. The size is really impressive to me, though. Like, it's not much bigger than a lot of mini ITX cases that I've seen. So check this out. You pretty much the entire height of the case is just the height of the motherboard. Like, there is no wasted space inside this thing. And then I guess the power supply is probably going to cram into the front up here. Wow, that is not a confidence-inspiring mount, but I guess we're going to have to try it out to give it a shot. Yeah, they've got a sample build in here that's got, there you go, you can see the power supply in the front, graphics card, cooler right there. Let's have a look if there's anything else to note about this. mATX motherboard, yeah. There's no reason you couldn't use an ITX motherboard in here, by the way. It just wouldn't be much point. So they've got some optional accessories, radiator. Oh, wait. Oh, I think that's just kind of a lost in translation thing. I think they just mean the CPU heat radiation device, like heatsink, not necessarily an actual water cooling radiator, because I don't see anything that looks like a radiator. Oh, hello. That's weird. So they've got what looks like it could be a fan mount here but it's only on the one side. You see that?
Yep.
So like maybe you're expected to just mount the fan on the one side and it just, you YOLO it a little bit? Interesting. It doesn't mention anything about fans. Oh, here we go. 9-centimeter fans. It comes with one, and there's an option to mount 2 more. I'm assuming they're talking about in the bottom down here. No, that looks like, those look like 120mm mounts too, don't they? See that? Mm-hmm. I don't get it. Oh, these are 92mm. So yes, you are expected to just pop a 92mm fan in there. You would just have to like cram that out of the way, and then it would just hang over the CPU area like that. Okay, all right, that's pretty interesting. Cool, well, let's just get started then. We are not gonna be using a Metal Fish power supply. No offense to Metal Fish, I'm sure they make wonderful power supplies, but we're gonna go Silverstone for this one. I really like Silverstone's SFX L form factor. So they took the standard SFX, which compared to normal ATX is much, much smaller in terms of the cutout size, which makes it great for cases like this where you don't have a lot of room. And then they extended it a little bit this way so they can use a 120mm cooling fan rather than the 92 or 80 actually, I think, millimeter cooling fans that you're stuck with in a regular SFX. So for me, it's not that much bigger than SFX, but the fact that you get that nice large cooling fan, even though it's a low profile one because the power supply is so skinny, means that they can be quite a bit quieter than a regular SFX. So let's grab our power supply mounting screws. Dang it, I promised this build wasn't gonna take an hour, but I think we've already been at it for half an hour and I haven't even put anything in the case yet. Don't judge me, David. Huh. I don't think this is gonna be especially easy to work in. That's interesting. So I was kind of hoping that this panel would just kind of come off. But if you look, it's actually riveted all down the back here. So it's riveted to the back panel, which means that if there's anything that comes off, it might be, Oh, I think it's just this bracket. Interesting. So we've got one screw right here. Okay, it's got a little aluminum spacer on it like that. Okay, and then this okay, this is really weird. So you see this locking mechanism here? Can you see that, David? Yeah, there you go. It's not clear which way it slides to me. Oh, never mind, yes it is. Okay, so this bracket's gotta come out first. Oh boy. Oh boy. So this bracket kind of locks in the other bracket, and then this is our 92mm fan bracket. I don't think we're actually going to need the extra cooling fan, so I'm not going to bother with that for this particular build. Sorry, we've got some renos going on over there, and I don't know if I can help you with that right now. Sorry, no worries. Maybe try Yvonne upstairs. Okay. Yeah, our office renos were delayed due to COVID nonsense, and we're finally getting them back up and running. So the contractors are here asking me questions live on the internet. So yeah, this bracket seems kind of okay-ish, I guess. It's got a little bit of flex to it, but I'm sort of imagining that by the time I mount this power supply to it, it might actually help a little bit. I don't know. It's mostly the way that it mounted to the case that bothered me, just that one screw. As long as you're not trying to ship your system to yourself across the country or whatever, though, which does come up. Like if people move, sometimes it can be safer or cheaper to ship stuff to yourself rather than carrying everything with you. I mean, it's probably fine. Like the point of the case is just to sort of suspend all the things, you know, near each other in a desirable way, right? So let's see how that feels now. Oh yeah, that seems fine. Yeah, that's my hand moving, not this thing. All right, so in that case, what's weird is I don't really see how I'm supposed to get at this, like this screw hole here anymore once I put this in, which is kind of funky. Oh, maybe. Actually, yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, because with that other bracket out, I've actually got a pretty good path to it there. That's not too shabby. Okay, well this looks pretty reasonable. We've got our intake right here, I guess. Yeah, let's go with the intake right there. What do you think, David? Should we add a little bit to our cost here, get closer to 1,100 bucks and put maybe a fan or two in the bottom? You think so? Yeah, I think you might be right. All right, I'm gonna go, oh, that's interesting. So if you look closely here, there's actually 2 spots for screws and spacers, one here and one here. But they only provide 1 spacer and 1 screw for that. So I guess that was a small cost-saving measure. Because the spacer's aluminum, it's a little bit tricky to get it in there. You can't just stick it to a magnetic screwdriver and then have it pop off. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put it in there with my fingers then. There we go. And we're gonna go ahead and screw that in. Okay, wow, that is really not easy to get at. Yeah. Okay, I think I've got it tightened enough. Okay. Well, how confidence-inspiring is that mount? That ain't the best, is it? I think it would actually be a lot better if that second mounting point was attached, but I mean, I can only work with what the manufacturer gives me here, right? It does seem like if I had that down, yeah. Like you can just hear the difference in the sound, hey? But especially because you need that spacer to hold it down, like there's nothing I can really do about it unless I go like fashion myself a spacer out of some washers or whatever. That's not a great experience for the end user. We're gonna go ahead and put this bracket back in. I don't think we're gonna need it for our build. How was this mounted? I think it was a little something like this. Yeah, there it is. So we got little countersunk screws. Actually, you know what? No, I lied. I'm gonna keep this out of the way while we get the motherboard installed. Okay. So this I'm hoping to just kind of chuck in here in one go. I realize now that given how much of the case is taken up by the motherboard, it could be a little problematic to squeeze it in here, but like with that power supply in the way, but I'm hoping for the best. So next step in the build, get the I/O shield mounted. You just pop in all 4 corners like that. I really do like those newer kind of higher end motherboards that have the I/O shield built in. It's pretty spiffy, but this one is more of like a value oriented board. Okay, I'm gonna put that power cable out of the way, front USB out of the way. All these things, what is this? Part of the power supply, there we go. I'm making a mess here. Okay, I can do better. I can do better than this. Let's tidy things up a little bit. And here we go. Do you think this is gonna go in, or did I screw up by putting that power supply in first? Oh. Ooh. I think I may have made a tactical error here, putting the power supply into the case first. It is possible this will go in. Give me just a second here. It's hard for me to tell exactly what it's wedged on. Oh, also, I better double check the standoffs that are pre-installed in this case. So let's have a look here. That's interesting. It's mATX width here. See that? So there it is lined up with the back of the case. But it only has ITX width mounting screws. So I guess the intention is for you to just leave these two screws not plugged into anything. Okay. I mean, yeah, I'm down. I can dig it. This lip right here is kind of what's killing me right now. If I can get past it, maybe we can get this in here. Look at that. Would you look at that? It did go in. Wow, that is freaking tight though. That's where the 24-pin connector goes in. That is right next to this fan grill, which comes off the surface of the power supply a little bit. There's kind of a little lip there. They are right up next to each other. So once that's plugged in, that pretty much is not coming off, because the clip for the ATX 24-pin connector is on the side that the power supply is on. So there's just no way to get at it after that. Okay. W. What does W mean, Silverstone? It's marked W. Thanks for that, guys. I have figured out, based on that this is a 20+4, that this is the detachable one, that this one must go into the power supply itself. So at least we've got that. Even if the markings weren't useful, we were able to figure it out. So that's good. And we can go ahead and just plug this puppy in right now, I think. There's not going to be, this power supply comes with a nice short cable kit, and there's not going to be any other way to plug this in, but, oh, I found something else that's making me a little uncomfortable. Come on in and have a look at this, guys. Check this out. So, yeah, okay. Are we bright enough? Are we able to?
A little dark there, doesn't it?
Yeah, are we able to pop it up a little bit? Check this out. So because those screws have nowhere to screw into over here, if I want to plug, you hear that?
Oh, no.
If I want to press on the 24-pin connector to get it installed, look at how that motherboard is flexing. I bet you could see it through here, through the grill. Can you see that?
A little bit, yeah.
It's kind of hard to see, isn't it? Here. Whatever, trust me, guys, it's flexing a lot. That makes me very uncomfortable. So what I'm gonna have to do is just kind of wedge a finger or something under the board and use that to kind of brace it here. Oh, okay, yeah. That's in. We're gonna call that good enough. Wow, yeah, really not a big fan of that. So far, I mean, I cannot fault the compactness of this layout, though. Man, there is not a wasted cubic freaking centimeter here. Oh, here's something I didn't mention before. In the accessory package, we've got, oh wait, I thought this was an SSD mount of some sort. It's not. This is just a cover for the back here, so you don't have to stare at the screws for your PCI slots. So, okay, we'll put that aside for now. We've also got, that's interesting. I mean, without a manual, it's sort of impossible to say exactly what things are for, but we've also got a plastic spacer and a screw. Was the intention to use this for that second screw here? The spacer does seem to be about the same. No, it's not quite the same width. Oh, bloody. Hold on. Dropped it. Ooh, I haven't screwed in the motherboard yet. Fortunately, it's so tight that it's basically a pressure fit in there, so it didn't come out. Hey, good job, Linus. No, I'm gonna stay on the overhead for a little bit here. Wow, that was not my finest move. King in the North goes, does this guy know how to build PCs, LMIO? Obviously not. There was a whole expose, you know, where it was revealed that I have never built a computer before. So this is my first time. This is my first time building a computer, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so we're using the finely threaded screws with the circular tops to screw in the motherboard. Every manufacturer is a little different when it comes to that. Some of them use 632, some of them use, I always forget, M3, M4, whatever it is. So what do we got here? We got 6 screws to put in then. Tolerances look pretty good. All of these are lining up about as well as I'd expect from a professional case manufacturer. You can't take that stuff for granted. I've seen it a lot of times over the years where you kind of have to put in all the screws a little bit and then kind of finagle the motherboard around and then tighten everything down, because if you were to tighten down a couple of them, you might run into ones that won't fit anymore when you're done. Oh, that's annoying. So this power cable comes in right where you got to put that screw in. There's not a lot of room to work there. That's, yeah, it's a little frustrating. That's okay. You just get in there at an angle. There we go. Okay, now that the motherboard's in, we can go ahead and give it a little shaky shake, get that spacer out. I don't know, my vibe is that this spacer is for that, even if it is a touch smaller. But at this point, I've got the motherboard in, so it's kind of too late for me to use it. But the criticisms that I had given before of them not having both pieces of mounting hardware, I can take those back. It's just something that you guys will have to go ahead and remember to install before you put the motherboard in. I'm not going to undo what we've done so far over that, though. We're still able to complete the build the way that it is. All right, we can go ahead and hook up our front panel connectors now. David, you're going to have to do your best to get in as close as you can here. So the front panel connectors on this motherboard are right here. Can you see those all right? Can't quite get at them? All right. You know what would be a fun challenge for me today? Oh! God. No, it's fine. It's all good. You know what would be a fun challenge? What's that? If I tried to plug these in using the video feed. Okay. This is not going to go well. So wait. So left is right and right is left. Okay. No, I cannot do that. Okay. I give up. We're going to the overhead. So the let's see. Power switch is, here we go. When you're looking at the board head on, it would be the top right, and then the power what is it? Power LED here? Yeah, power LED is right next to it with the positive facing the right-hand edge of the board and the negative facing the left-hand edge of the board. So those will just go in there, a little something like that. We're going to cable manage this behind the motherboard. That's really the only place we have for cable management in this case. I wouldn't even really call it cable management. It's more like jamming cables behind things. Overhead with head in the way. Well, you know what, guys? It's kind of hard to plug in those front panel connectors without looking at them at least a little bit, okay? Especially when you've never built a computer before. Okay?
You wouldn't need overhead camera because it's not over your head.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, David. Obviously, it's over the head. I'm just over your complaints. Over them. I consider them unnecessary overhead. Yeah, that's pretty bad. We can cut it there.
Editor, please.
Yeah, editor. Go ahead and cut. Oh wait. Oh snap. Okay. Front USB 3. Here, I can get them a pretty good look at this one, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I'll do my best. So front, oh, wow, yeah, that 24 pin, that'd be right in the way, don't it? All right, so that's our connector right there. Just make sure you've got the little nubbin on the end of the connector. Make sure you got that lined up correctly with the slot. These are super fragile pins, so you want to be real careful when you're plugging that puppy in. And yeah, you can't see anything, can you?
Nope.
I'm sorry. I need to see the pins so I don't bend them. I want to bend the pins. Oh wow. I don't want to bend the motherboard either. That's that edge that's not supported, so it's really flexing. All right. Yeah, seems fine, I guess. I mean, what's it gonna do? Take its business elsewhere? Has no choice, you know. It's my motherboard. I do with it as I please. Motherboard abuse simulator. I want to play that game. I can. I'm trying to get the 24 pin out of the power supply because I'd like to route this a little bit more cleanly if I can. I'm just not sure if I can. So I was thinking maybe kind of like that. What do you think? Is that any better? I don't know.
Back your hand looks about the same to me.
Thanks. Okay, you know what? I'm going with it. There. Now it's in like that. You can kind of imagine. You can imagine what it's like behind my hand. Or I can flip you guys over to this angle and you can get a better look at it. There we go. All right, so all I did was kind of flatten this out in here. And then I want to use as much of this space here in the front of the case to hide my cables as I can. Bear in mind though, we're not going to have too much space over here because depending on the length of our graphics card, some of that space is going to get taken up. Speaking of which, there's actually not a whole lot else for us to install here. We need to do the 8-pin CPU connector. All right, there we go. So that goes into back of the power supply right about, yeah. There we go. Ooh, is this long enough? Oh, that's really close. I think it's gonna make it though. Okay, good. And then this puppy is gonna go right about there. Okay, maybe I can look through the perforation to the case and then you guys can see the back of my hand instead of the back of my head. Sound good? All right, there we go. I'm just gonna tuck this in here. Yeah, right there. Yeah, that should be fine-ish. Definitely covering up some. I'm definitely covering up some of the intake on the power supply, but I don't think it's gonna be too detrimental. Here, if you wanna have a look at that, we can show the peeps how that looks. I think we've got enough access for this fan here. Not too bad, and actually the routing of that cable is not too bad either. So it's kind of over here behind the VRM cooler. Yeah, not bad. Fair bit of space considering how tiny the case is. I forgot to plug in this, unfortunately. So that's my AC power for the back of the power supply. Needs to go in here. I think I can get it in, but it probably would have been better to do before the power supply was installed in the case. How's the back of my hand look, David?
Pasty as ever.
Pasty, thanks for that. All right, got that in. Then what do I want in terms of routing here? I'm kind of tempted to kind of run it along here and then just, I don't know, give this a little like twist or fold, kind of, I don't know what, like jam it in there like that or something maybe? Yeah, ooh, wow. Look how stealthy that is. That's not bad, huh? For a zero cable ties, cable management endeavor. Yeah, that's usable. All right. Then we got our rear fan. So I'm just gonna tie that in one of my little trademark knots and plug into the chassis fan connector on the back of the motherboard here. Here, you can kind of see where that is at least. It's right there. I hate that this doesn't have RPM sense, but yeah, I guess there's nothing we can really do about it. There you go. All right, good stuff. Funnily enough, we don't even need like most of the modular cables in here. We have no Molex devices, no SATA devices. We are gonna need a power cable, but I think I'll probably just, yeah, I'll just use one that we've already got open here in the shop. Meaning that it is time to install our graphics card and see how this build turned out. Oh yeah, we don't even need these nice fancy SATA cables that they shipped with the case. Where are you supposed to put a SATA drive? Oh, I think I see it. So there's a spot for one, looks like right here. That looks like a SATA mounting pattern. And then, I'm not actually sure where you're supposed to put the second one, but I think at least one of them goes here. All right. Graphics card time. So we went with an EVGA GeForce RTX 2060. I'm trying to remember if this is the kind of the weirdo one that's based on the same GPU as the RTX 2070, or if it's not. In terms of gaming performance, it doesn't really matter, so I'm not super concerned about it. But we're going to go ahead and install it in our PCI Express Gen 4 slot, not because it can actually take advantage of Gen 4. The upcoming RTX 3000 series is rumored to be Gen 4, but not these ones. But again, this is no compromises from a potential standpoint. We definitely did make some compromises in order to hit the $1,000 price point that we were targeting. You know what, David? I don't think we need it. With the graphics card right here, down near the bottom of the case, like, look at this.
Yeah, those fans wouldn't work.
Not only that, but it's basically going to be drawing fresh air in straight from outside the case anyway. And you've got these nice feet on here that are going to lift up the bottom of the chassis enough that it should be able to get in there just fine. I'm honestly not too worried about it.
Heck yeah.
Let's go for it. You know what I might consider doing though? Oh, I'm on the fence on this one. What do you think about turning this around?
So it's blowing air out?
So it's pulling air in from the back.
What's blowing air out then?
Well, the power supply is going to have its fan going, and it's going to be kind of venting air this way. The CPU cooler is obviously going to have kind of hotter air around it. So the way I'm imagining it here is we've got kind of our hot air coming around off the GPU. It's kind of being blown this way, and it's kind of coming out of the chassis like this.
I like it.
Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. I think it's worth a shot. What do you guys think up in the chat over here that I have completely ignored for most of this stream? Sorry, guys. Oh, wow. Slow mode really does make a big difference. CyberPower678 says nope. Unfiltered intake, yuck. Okay, thing is, we don't have, like, not every intake is going to be filtered regardless. So if we have this as an exhaust, then it's just going to be pulling in dust from elsewhere. So if we wanted to spend more, you're 100% right. We could put that filter, we could tape that filter onto the bottom, and then we could put an intake, like a nice strong intake there. That would be the best way. But we're not going to add additional cost. We're just going to go for the best cooling results today. So I think we should turn it around. Sapphire Phoenix says, do it. All right. Thanks, Sapphire.
That's not what he said. He said, do it.
He did say do it.
Do it.
Do it. Do it. So we're going with it. Realistically, I was just waiting for one person to say do it, and then I was going to ignore all the people that were saying not to do it because I'd kind of already decided. Look, I'm all about transparency with you guys, okay? We got to be honest with each other if this relationship is going to work. I was just going to do whatever I wanted anyway, and you were going to come along for the ride. That's what this is. All right, so that's in. Oh, actually, we're gonna go ahead and screw in the graphics card as well. Wait, oh, that's weird. Usually they use 632 screws for the back, but these are not. Okay, well that's fine. I can dig it. Sorry, I'll get you a better look at that. There we go. Do, 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 do. Boop. That's on there. Just do one more for the sake of 100% completion. I mean, how triggering is it that Super Mario World's 100% completion is 96? Couldn't they have just done 4 more exits? It would have only had to be 2 more levels, right? 2 more levels, each with 2 exits. Yeah. That's all they had to do for it to be 100% instead of 96 out of 96. What a lame half effort, you know?
Is that better or worse than 100% being like 102%?
Wow, it depends. See, I think if the 102% one is like, oh man, that's really tough. Okay, no, if the 102% one is like 100% is pretty basic, yeah, and then that extra 2% is like far beyond, like it's more like bonus marks on an exam, then I'm okay with it. Sure. But less than 100 is terrible. And you know what? I think I lied. I think this spacer is actually for mounting this thing, not for, no wait, no, it doesn't seem to be, that's too big. No, maybe it is for the power supply mount. Okay, I'm really confused by that. Why didn't they just pre-mount this thing? It seems kind of stupid. Whatever. So is there another screw that's intended for that? Nope. There's no special screw for the PCI slot cover thing. You just kind of hard mount that thing on there, I guess. Okay, fine. Okay. We just need power for our graphics card. So we were talking about NVIDIA's new rumored 12-pin connector on WAN Show the other day, and someone was like, hey, this is confirmed to be fake news. But I was reading an article on Gamers Nexus this morning where they were like, no, we have actually confirmed it to be definitely confirmed, not fake news. And apparently it just might be more of like an OEM-focused connector. So you'll be able to adapt existing power connectors to it, but it kind of won't matter because the kinds of system builders that are intending to use it are going to be ones that would just design like OEM grade power supplies to go in those systems that would just have that connector on them already. So that is apparently the real skinny on that whole thing.
Do we need someone to get like a monitor and keyboard and stuff?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably not, because we've got those ones in the shop. Oh, monitor, yes. Monitor would be good. I'll keep it on the overhead for a minute here if you want to ask someone to do that. All right, let's get our 8-pin plugged into the graphics card, and then we can sit and appreciate this finished build for a little bit here. It is really compact. This is what drew me to this case. mATX, so you could put another expansion slot there, or excuse me, another expansion card there, another expansion card there. We can have up to 2 M.2s with this B550 board, one at Gen 4 speed, and then one under the graphics card there with that cooler plate on it at Gen 3 speed. 4 memory slots, up to a 16-core frickin' processor here. Thank you, AMD, for that. We've got a 500-watt power supply in here now. That's pretty, it's a little overkill actually for this build, but it's like reasonable overkill. You can go higher than that if you want. I think Silverstone has like 1,000-watt coming at some point in the SFX form factor. And it's like, it's like handheld size almost. Like, look at this. It's tiny. It's the size of like a pretty small ITX system, and without any crazy compromises, like no external power brick or anything weird like that. Really like it. Now, power supply mount's not amazing, but everything else, pretty good. Pretty good. The one thing that I would do differently now that I'm through this build is I would put my fan filter on for sure. Oh wow, it doesn't fit on the underside. That's kind of a shame. Well, okay, I guess you could always cut it or whatever. And then I would put an intake fan down here. That might limit your the card lengths that you could handle in this bottom PCIe slot, but if you just did like, what size could you do? I mean, as long as you did a short card there, you could probably do, you could probably do a 120 millimeter fan here. So having a filtered intake on a 120 millimeter fan at the bottom would be just money. Total money. All right, so let's go ahead. We're gonna put this bracket back on. Maybe that's where the other SSDs are supposed to mount. That would kind of make sense. Oh no, that was for 92 millimeter fans. Okay, I don't know. I don't know where the other SSD goes. I have tried. I've tried to figure it out. Even a 10 millimeter fan would be nice. Who's that? Rod Rosenberg. What do you mean a 10 millimeter fan? A 1 centimeter fan? What are you even talking about? What are you even talking about? I mean, thank you, Rod, but no. Titan Mechanism says, to be fair, Intel offers 18 core in an mATX form factor. That is sort of true. Like, you could get that weird ASRock rack board, but that's not really consumer. That's a very niche motherboard, and it doesn't have like good I/O, like consumer grade I/O on it or anything like that. That's by the time you, I don't know. By the time you make up for all the I/O that's not on that motherboard by adding a bunch of expansion cards, you've kind of lost the benefit of it being mATX. Like you could have just gone ITX with a proper consumer board and just had all that stuff built in and then have it be even smaller. Kame Tofu says, when are you going to do that Threadripper chilling? Oh man, that fell off our plate so long ago that I had completely forgotten about it. Speaking of forgotten, I forgot that we've got a reflection issue here. Hold on a second, let me just get my LTTstore.com water bottle in here to prop this up. I hope that stays. Now that the system is built, it's a little more precarious. It's a little heavier. I like this glass. It's got kind of like a dark kind of tinted look to it. Pretty nice. If we had some interior lighting, it would probably look a little bit nicer. But as it is, it's really clean. Oh, wow, you're just in time, Jake. Jake's back from lunch. Check out the build. It's done.
Oh, that actually looks pretty nice.
Yeah. Like, not too shabby for a $100 case.
Is it just one fan? LTTstore.com?
Yeah, LTTstore.com. Yeah, it's just the one fan included. We probably should have thrown another one in, but I turned it around. I made it an intake. So I'm kind of thinking that between the passive intake at the bottom here and the active intake right here going right over the CPU fan and then over towards the power supply intake, we will probably be okay. We're going to find out soon enough, though, that's for sure, because we're going to fire this puppy up right about nowsies. What? Yes, it is actually glass. It's a pretty nice looking little case. I actually, if I didn't want to water cool my machine, I would say I like this as much, if not better, than the one that I went with from Sliger. Yeah, and it's really light too, like it's aluminum, which is pretty cool. All right, let's go ahead and get our monitor hooked up. Let's see if she games. See if she games. You know what I don't have is a mouse pad. Do you mind? Yes, thank you. Uh-oh. Oh boy. Well, I think we might need a new DisplayPort cable here, David.
Oh.
Whoops. That's what the kids call a big oof, I think. It came out in pieces. Rip in pieces, DisplayPort cable. You were too good for this world.
Wait, is it 1.2 or 1.4?
I don't think the cable matters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just either a high quality cable that works or a low quality cable that doesn't work, pretty much, when it comes to DisplayPort. Oh, DisplayPort. You're so good on paper. I miss DVI. That's what I miss.
Screen.
DVI just always worked. Well, the screwing in was good because it meant that, no, I don't have anyone. This is a power cable. Thank you. Oh, wow. Speaking of DVI, this RTX 2060 actually has DVI on it. What? That's, huh. Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time. A long time. DVI. All right. I'm just going to clear some space here. What do you think? David, give me the odds that it fires up immediately.
I think
90%.
90%.
Feeling pretty good. Wow. I like your confidence. You had a lot of what? A lot of tea?
I bought a lotto ticket, but I didn't actually buy it.
Oh, you bought a lotto ticket.
Feeling lucky.
I don't think anyone here plays the lotto that I know of. I don't know, my dad was a big lotto player. He would always go get that 649. Never won.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unsurprisingly.
Yeah, it's a good thing the marketing is just imagine because that's all you mostly get to do.
I buy one once in a while, like a couple times a year when it's like, whatever, $70 million or whatever.
I don't mind it if it's like a gift. If you're just like, hey, I know absolutely nothing about you, but I don't want to seem like a total cheapskate. Here's a lottery ticket. Okay. Ethical, moral debate here, David. I know you love those so much. I buy you a lottery ticket. You win $1 million. How much do you owe me?
That's why I always would discuss it. Even when I was like a 13-year-old, I would talk to my grandma and be like, so what are we going to do here? How are we going to split this?
Okay, so what would be your impulse?
I would just give them a number. You get $1 million.
Wait, I said that the total winnings was $1 million.
Oh, you get $1 million? Oh.
Yeah. So how much is it? Hit me.
10%.
10%. So if I buy your winning ticket, I get 100K if you win $1 million.
Yeah.
And you keep 900K.
Well, unless we created another deal.
And would you stick to that?
Yes, 100%.
You would honor that.
Without question.
Without question. What if I said, no, I want 20% if I'm going to grant this ticket to you?
We had handshakes. I had secretly recorded on my iPhone.
You secretly recorded on your iPhone.
I'm taking you to court.
Speaking of taking to court, have you seen those crazy cases where there's like lotto pools, like in the office or whatever? And I don't know if you guys have seen this or you heard about this, but there have been cases where someone like normally participated in the lotto pool, but then they like didn't that 1 week, and then that was the one that won. And then the people in the pool were like, no. And they were like, well, normally I participate, so I should get some of the winnings. And it actually, I believe that was here in Canada, but it did go to court, if I recall correctly.
That must have been so expensive, and they must have spent so much of their winnings on the court proceedings.
I mean, isn't that crazy, though?
Just pay them off. Just give them 50 grand.
Really? You know what? Because, no. You know what? I'm completely of the opposite mind on that. You didn't pay to play, you don't win. It's that simple.
But if you spend $100 grand in court proceedings, is it worth fighting for?
Oh man, it's the principle of the thing. Besides, a lot of the time you can like countersue for legal fees,
Principle doesn't pay the bills though.
but then you end up like in court forever. All right, let's see if this thing powers on. Hey, I forgot. This is the Wraith Prism or whatever, the one with the RGB lighting on it. So we actually will have just a splash of lighting in our machine here. Let's see, is this gonna power on there, buddy? Is this powered on? Come on. It's B550, so it should boot right up with a 3000 series chip. Please. Yes! Whew! Oh, that's always a good feeling.
Should get a lot of tickets.
That's always a good feeling. Yeah, no, I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it. I'm one of those people where I'm of the mind that you are better off investing your $4 or whatever a lotto ticket costs in just about anything else. I consider it a stupidity tax, and I don't feel bad for people who lose their money on lotto tickets. It's pretty not a good idea.
I can agree with that.
I just
Don't get lotto tickets.
like I remember being like 10 and being like, Sorry, we're doing what? You know, we had this Looney Bank, and that was back when $1 was worth anything, right? You know, we had this Looney Bank that was really cool. I really liked putting money in it because you like put it in the top and it like went down a thing, and then like it had like a counterweight, and then it went down another thing, and it was like our vacation savings fund or something like that. And I remember being like outraged when I realized how much lotto tickets cost when we could be putting loonies in the loony. I think we called it the loony bin, if I recall correctly. It was a long time ago. When I was 10 was sort of a lot of years ago. All right, new CPU installed, Ryzen 5 3600X 6-core processor, 16 gigs of RAM, RTX graphics, 500-watt power supply, and all in the size of like a couple of lunch boxes. Isn't 2020 a great time to be alive? Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but this is a great computer for the price. Okay, let's go ahead and boot to Windows boot. Oh, shoot, I forgot to enable XMP, DOCP, that's what AMD brands it. It's okay, we'll do it, it's okay, we'll do it in a minute. What is this? Editors? Oh, 6 editors, Jake Tivey. Oh. Hey, he actually put a representative of the kind of SSD we would have normally used in a system like this. It's a 760p, whatever. It's a QLC SSD. Uh-oh, is this a fresh install of Windows? Ooh, I kind of hope not. Also, are my keyboard and mouse working? Oh, well, this is. Oh, no, it's not fresh. Oh, thank goodness. That would have been a real hassle to get all the drivers and utilities and everything installed. Oh, I had a little moment there. So I plugged 2 USB connectors into the back. So I was like, oh good, I've got my keyboard and my mouse installed. But they were just the 2 connectors for my keyboard. So that's why the mouse wasn't working. All good. Do you want to allow? We did a tech quickie on this. I was amazed at how many people were like, yeah, what the F does that message mean? Because we basically just named it like, why does Windows always ask you this? The most infuriating thing about this to me is how deeply buried this setting is if you accidentally click the wrong thing. It's so stupid. And it's not like called this, like you have to go, so whether it's setting it to a public or a private network, it's like a weird little like hyperlink somewhere. Like I hate the new control panel so much. Yes, I want to allow my PC to be discoverable. Let's go ahead and log into an existing account. I'm going to have to get you to look away for a second here, David. Let's see if I got that password right on the first try. Oh yeah, okay, you can come back. So as long as nobody has my Steam LTT benchmark account, then we should be good to just go ahead and show the 2-factor. Haha, this would be your one chance to get into our benchmark account and steal our games. I can tell you won't have any like good items or anything, because these games have only been played for like the absolute minimum amount of time to get to a point where we can like do a benchmark run. All right. Let's go ahead and give it a quick, actually, let's let Steam finish starting. Like install whatever updates it has or whatever. Oh, wow, look at that. Okay, that was quick. Jake really did get this. Wait, what? Did he not install anything on it, though? Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. Oh, man. Oh, man. He let down the team. Maybe there's just a, oh boy. Yeah, we don't have anything. Okay, well, that's fine. Let's go turn XMP on anyway. Maybe my external drive. Yes. If I have it, we could be in luck here. I think I've got a classic on here. Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
We should replace it with Horizon Zero Dawn next month.
I don't know. It'd be hard for me to break this habit.
It's got a benchmark tool. It's beautiful.
Old, very ingrained habits definitely die hard. Oh man, I don't actually see my my drive. I think it's plugged into the back of my computer at home. Rats. All right, advanced mode. Let's go ahead and enable DOCP, see if it works. Memory frequency. Oh, dang it, where's your stupid? Oh, here it is. DOCP. Okay. Overvolting SoC may cause instability on Gen 4 devices. Maximum blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yep. We good. That all looks fine. Sweet. You know what? I'm going to ask Ed. What we can do in the meantime is some thermal tests, though. For realsies, though, these are selling super fast, so if you want some of the initial air-shipped batch, you guys should probably head over there, lttstore.com. They're the same price as our 20-ounce, but they're 40-ounce. It's just like such a stupid thing to me. Like, oh yeah, there's like another, dollar in metal. It should be $5 more, like the typical way of pricing things that are different sizes. Nope, just whatever size you want to have, you just go with that. We good. So let's go ahead and fire up hardware info here. See if our CPU temps are acceptable. No, we don't really need a new version of it. How we doing? So we're turboing to 3.8 gigahertz or so. But where are our temps? There we go. Now let's go ahead and fire up one of the sample Blender files, maybe just Classroom or something. Here we go. What is it, F12? How good of a computer did we build? We got nothing, eh? Well, that's fine, because you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start a download of something. What's a graphically demanding
Doom Eternal.
And yet not very big game? Yeah, there's your problem, David. Why is CSGO 40% downloaded? Did I click to install that? I don't think I did. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Should I just do it?
How big is it?
Oh, I can't remember.
Actually, hold on. Try this thing.
Try this one?
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
I thought it
Oh, wait.
would,
This is Thunderbolt, isn't it? This is a Thunderbolt cable. Is the Rocket Nano Thunderbolt? I think it might be. Oh, man. How annoying would that be? I think it is.
have a Type-C in there?
There's a Type-C connector on here, but I'm pretty sure the Rocket Nano is Thunderbolt. Rocket Nano. Sabrin? Nope. Apparently it's not. Why does this have a Thunderbolt cable plugged into it? Okay.
It came with a bunch of cables.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well, we'll see if it picks up. This may have games on it. We shall see.
Well, this thing was labeled Steam Library. I thought we liked it, but hey.
All right, let's see. Well, no luck so far.
It's doing a thing.
I don't think it is. Yep, it's not. Well, that's unfortunate. Huh. Well, the good news is that our CPU is sitting at around 80 degrees, even while running Blender Classroom. That is very, very reasonable. And it's turboing up right in the neighborhood of 4 gigahertz. Not too shabby. Let's see if my theory about how the exhaust was going to kind of come out the top is working out here. Actually, that seems to be working out for me. Not bad, Linus. Not bad. Yep, I think it might be Thunderbolt. But it doesn't say Thunderbolt on the thing.
I mean, on the thing it says Thunderbolt to Type A, and it says we'll work with both USB Type-C and Thunderbolt 3 computers.
Does it now?
Yeah.
Okay. Here, let me plug it into my laptop, which does have a Thunderbolt port. It's not picking up on here either. Maybe it's just dead. That would be super unfortunate. Disk drives. Sabrent. Oh no, there it is. So it shows up in Device Manager. Oh boy. And it does not show up in Disk Management. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, shucks. You know what? Oh, hey, that just picked up. Yes. Let me just see if there's anything on it. Steam. Steam apps. Common. A whack load of games. Okay. Here is what we're going to do. We're going to let that Blender run keep going. We've got a wonderful, spicy debate in the chat here about whether or not Thunderbolt devices will work on a Type-C controller. The answer is no. What we're trying to figure out is if this is just a Type-C device with a Thunderbolt cable or Thunderbolt marked cable on it, and it does appear to be. So we're good. So I can just go ahead and cancel this download, which is at 3%, because we had to do a bit of an internet connection rekajigger. Uninstall. And then we're going to try again, pointing at our other Steam library, and we should be good. Frickin' A. Thanks, Ed.
We should just leave it in the PC workshop.
Oh man, I don't know where the best place to have it would be. So
I kind of wanted it not be anywhere that people would just take and start using it. In fact, I need to sign this one out too.
New Steam folder must be empty. Wait, what? Oh man, how does this work again? Do I just got to do that? Oh yeah, there we go. Installed 41 games. Boom. Huh, did it just pick it up just like that? We can play Doom Eternal after all. Doom Eternal? Yeah. Are we doing Doom Eternal?
Heck yeah.
All right, we're doing Doom Eternal. That's fine, because we know everything we need to know about how this CPU is going to turbo under long-term load. It's going to stay up around 4 gigahertz. Freaking awesome. It's going to max out at around 80 degrees Celsius. Real nice and comfy. So we're going to go ahead. We're just going to cancel that, because that's all we really wanted to know. And we are going to fire up Doom Eternal now and see if this puppy can game. I mean, realistically, we know the answer. It's a 3600X and an RTX 2060. Of course it can game. But, you know, you guys want to know. You guys want to see it. What, ready to play in 29 minutes? What is the point of having the files on an external drive if it's going to download stuff anyway?
Coming down quick, though.
Yeah, it is coming down kind of quick. I actually don't think it's doing any internet stuff. I think they've just kind of rebranded the checking. Oh, no, wait. No, it is downloading stuff, I think. That looks pretty downloady right there. All right. Fine. We have to wait 5 minutes.
Tell us a joke.
What can we do? Tell us a joke. Oh, you know what? No, I should do some, I should reply to some super chats and stuff. Viewer activity. All right. Let's have a look at your messages from hours ago. Hey, Robert. Recently got into Beat Saber for fitness. What mods are the must-haves? I mean, really just anything custom library management-wise is important, like being able to sort your songs in different ways. I get criticized all the time when I'm streaming for having such a vanilla Beat Saber setup. Like, where's your custom saber-tailored sabers, and where's your, you know, more detailed analytics for your box slashes and stuff. I don't care about any of that. I like just the vanilla game. I just got my blue saber in my right hand, my red saber in my left hand, and I just go. So yeah, I don't really care about any of that. Arthur, can't wait for the part where Linus drops something important. Thanks for that, Arthur. Appreciate the vote of confidence. Ryan asks, what do you think about those AliExpress X79 and X99 combos in 2020? Seems like Ryzen's beating everything these days. Yeah, Ryzen's crushing it these days. But depending on pricing, X79 is still very functional. Like, if you're not necessarily trying to run Doom Eternal at 240 frames per second or whatever, if you can give up a little bit of CPU performance, those chips still run pretty good. Dale says, turn your mic up. No, we did turn it up, but sorry, well, that was hours ago. Too late. We did turn it up. It's not still at minus 30 dB. Mika says, should I build my computer inside my wall, only I/O visible? Oh, I can't believe you brought that up. We've actually been pitching that concept to a couple of brands for a while. What I really want to do is the computer in a wall between rooms. So like a combination of like 2 gamers, 1 CPU, and like an in-wall computer. So you've got this one computer that's like plexi, so you can actually kind of like see through to the gamer on the other side, and it's like a head-to-head gaming setup, and you're both gaming on the same rig, and it's like in this window between you. I don't know, it kind of sounded cooler in my mind, and it just kind of like got kind of crazy. And we never like did it because it's like, who's going to tear apart their wall to do this? Like, we needed a wall to do it in. But yes, I love the idea. Also, no, there's no way that your local like fire code, building code is going to be okay with that. So I can't recommend it. A Plasma says, wouldn't know as much as I do today without you. Love you, Linus. Thank you very much. Rybags, I work for a system integrator here in the UK. Always appreciate your unbiased opinion. Here's to socks and sandals. Indeed. Socks and sandals are the champion's footwear. Zeterio sends over 100 of whatever NOK currency is. The Great Bape asks, what do you think of the Beyerdynamic DT990 Pros? I love the Beyerdynamic sound, quite honestly. Whether it's 880s, 990s, I think they all sound great, just with different flavors, depending on whether you want closed back, open back, or whatever the case may be. I can't criticize them. I don't think I've ever actually like reviewed a Beyerdynamic headphone, but a lot of respect for their products, really good stuff. Prashank Abhishek says, built 3600 and RX 580 and SG13 case with H6 as the intake and an ATX power supply as the only exhaust. CPU gets to 84. Is that too high or to be expected? I mean, based on what we're seeing today, I would say that is pretty reasonable. The thing about those AIO coolers, and this was true back when they were first launched and is true today, is that unless they have a big radiator, they actually don't have any more cooling capability than an air cooling heatsink. Like, you look at an H60, look at it. That's the heat exchanger, right? So yes, by using water, you're able to move the heat from the CPU to the heat exchanger very efficiently and quickly, but that's your heat exchanger. So if you had a heatsink just bolted right onto your CPU with heat pipes instead, that's the same amount of heat exchanging that you can do. H60 is not a great cooler. It's more about fitting in a compact case. Or in the case of something like an SG13, being able to take that heat exchanger and put it like right in the front of the case where the freshest air is, so it's not using recycled warm air from your graphics card or something like that. That's something we'd have to contend with in this system once we're actually gaming, which is why I want to get, well, a game running sooner or later here. Let's just see. Thanks, Bob Flanders. Thanks, Blake Hayes. Scotty Hawk says, Linus, all my parts are coming Friday. I'm a first-time builder inspired by you. Any tips from you or the chat? Hey, just watch this video and follow along. It can't be that hard. Actually, you know what? We've done more detailed guides in the past. In some ways, actually, our like much older build guides are way more detailed. The thing is, just you get tired of doing the same close-up of how to hook up the front panel connectors over and over and over and over again. So what I would probably do is go back and watch one of those for that nitty-gritty detail, and then watch something more modern if you want to see some of the more updated connectors, like the internal USB-C connector and stuff like that. Okay, we just booted someone off this account. Whoopsie daisies. Matter Cases says, yo, Linus, do you want to make a case? Actually, no. You're not the first one to approach me about making our own case. And the reason we haven't done it is that I just don't really feel like I have enough to contribute to the case design Zeitgeist, or however you pronounce that, to justify doing my own case. Like, it's one of those categories where I can definitely evaluate what I like or don't like about someone else's case design, but I don't have like this vision for what the Linus designed case would be. So I've just, I've leaned away from that. Let's go ahead and set this up. All right, we're gonna go 2560 by 1440, I believe is the native res of this panel.
Yes.
Field of view 110, that seems fine. Render mode, oh, okay, cool. Haven't actually played that much. Performance metrics, sure, let's have some performance metrics up on screen. Overall quality, let's go for like, probably, we can probably handle Nightmare. Oh, we're exceeding our VRAM limit a little bit. Okay, we're going ultra. We're going ultra. It's so non-representative. Ultra, Nightmare Ultra. Ultra should not be a mid-tier option, but whatever. Let me just find if there's any motion blur. Oh, you can't just turn it off?
Low is off.
Low is off? Thanks, David. You're not a motion blur guy, are you?
Depends.
Really?
Yeah.
Depends on what? Whether
What kind of game?
whether you've lost your sanity that day?
If you want to experience a cinematic vision for a game.
Oh, I see what you mean. So if you're playing like a sightseeing
Yeah.
type game, yeah, sure,
Never
okay,
Doom Eternal.
that's fine.
Never.
Yeah, no, that would be terrible in a game like this. Okay, hurt me plenty, I guess. Sure, whatever. Let's see how we do here. CyberPower678 on Floatplane says, hey Linus, you know that Fractal Design 7 case with the 18 hard drives? I'm trying to get the remaining trays for them. Any possibility of letting me buy yours? Tell you what, CyberPower, thanks for supporting on Floatplane. Get in touch with, man, what's the easiest way to get in touch with someone here? Tell you what, if you can figure out how to get in touch with someone here and prove that you're that person, then we'll just ship them to you. I don't even care. It's all good. I just saw them the other day. Yeah, we've definitely still got them lying around. So, whoops, I just fell off a cliff. So as far as I'm concerned, you can have them, man. Oh, what do I do here? I forget. There's like a, oh yeah, double jump. Hey, there we go. All right, cool. I forget how to play the game. These ones you're supposed to. Oh yeah, I'm trying to remember how to.
Control or right click.
Ah man.
Oh, I think you're on auto mode though.
Okay, there we go. Oh, oh boy, I forgot how to play. Extra life activated. Where's my grenades?
Press R with your shotgun.
These-
That might activate your shotgun mode.
Oh man, this is terrible. I only played this game once before, and it did not go much better than this.
Hold right click.
What's my, okay, E is glory kill, awesome. It's control, I think.
Left control is the regular grenade, but you can also use your shotgun grenade for this too.
Oh, that's right. I think, did I get him there? No, I didn't. No, what? So sorry, wait, what?
So you alt fire on the shotgun.
Yeah.
So right click, hold right click, and then
hold right click.
And you might have to switch modes. I'm not sure, but just try it like now, just to see if you get a grenade out. Yeah.
There we go. Hello.
Nice.
There we go. See, I can play games. I just need to know the controls. Minor details. Minor details, like the controls. So what are we looking at? 100 plus FPS on this thing? Man, you can get a lot of gaming rig for $1,000 these days. I love it. Like, isn't that outstanding?
Yeah.
I mean, this is not like some cheesy, easy to run League of Legends stuff here. This is freaking Doom Eternal. Man, that's awesome. Oh, okay, well, that's okay. We got a chainsaw. We just get all the ammo or whatever. So smooth, man. A little bit of powerful CPU here, a little bit of awesome GPU there. Oh man, must be very painful for you to watch me play FPS games. Thank you for your silence.
I hit the turret on the top.
Yep. Oh wait, it's still not dead. Okay. Nope. Oh,
Oh no!
that was awkward. That was a little awkward. But that's okay, because my job isn't to play the games. My job is to, wait, did I get another life or something? Oh, and I'm dead. My job's not to play the games. My job's to build the gaming systems. Let's go ahead and pop out of the game here, actually, and have a look at how we're doing for GPU temps. So we're still right up there in the 100 plus FPS range. Let's just pop in here. Our CPU's sitting at around 70 degrees, very reasonable. Where's our GPU at? GPU is 80 degrees, turboing up to around 1800 megahertz. Super reasonable for this card. I am actually very, very pleased with this machine. Pretty cool. To go back and do it again, I think the things I would tune would be definitely to add that 120 millimeter fan at the bottom. Throw this, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where's my filter? Whatever. The case comes with a filter. I'd probably kind of cut it out and make it so that I can stick it on the bottom so it's nice and easy to pop off and clean when I need to. Man, beyond that, I mean, if I wanted a CPU upgrade, sure, you know, you could go, instead of 6-core, you could go 8-core, 12-core, 16-core, whatever the case may be. You probably wouldn't even need to change your power supply for that. And then what I didn't notice, see, we kind of assumed we needed to use a pretty compact graphics card for this rig. Not at all. You could easily throw a 2070 in here as long as you have that additional air intake. I think you're going to be fine. So pretty cool little case. Definitely good bang for the buck. I wouldn't say the build quality is outstanding or anything like that, but definitely unique and great price for it. What was it? Rocket something or fish? Something fish? Metal fish. Yeah, metal fish. Metal fish S5. That's the one. So thanks for tuning in, guys. And oh, don't forget to check out our sponsor for today's video. What's in your online security toolkit? Adding a VPN lets you mask your IP and encrypt traffic to and from your devices. Private internet access has reliable service with over 3,000 servers in more than 30 countries. They've got no bandwidth caps, and their encryption is configurable, keeping you in control of your connection. When combined with private browsing best practices, a VPN can even make websites think that you're in a different country. Try PIA risk-free with their 30-day money-back guarantee. You can connect up to 10 devices at once with clients for Windows, macOS, Android, iOS, and Linux. We're gonna have it linked down below. Don't wait, sign up today. Hey, are you mocking my headband? No. Are you mocking my headband, David?
Even a little bit.
Because that headband is gonna be on lttstore.com probably in the next couple months. We've got our order placed.
Heck yeah.
I mean, realistically, I only really wanted the wristbands, but it costs so much little more to do 2 wristbands and the headband that we're like, screw it.
I'd rather have the headbands.
We're just good. You'd rather have the headband.
Yeah.
You're a headband guy.
Especially when my hair's long.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, you need it. You know what? It's funny. I've never had kind of this long hair before. At least not like in my adult life. Like I was typically a really short hair guy. And so for me, when I was sports balling, it was kind of as simple as like, you know, kind of, and then my head's basically dry. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize how much more sweat it kind of soaks up. And then when it starts to drip, it's like intense. So I was actually using the headband at a badminton singles match. I signed up for like a summer league. Oh, nice. It's super, super hot in the gym where we play. And I was using it, I was like, this is great. Until, my headband game is still pretty weak, okay? So it was great until I realized that I had the hair kind of coming over like this. And I was like going back for something and my hair kind of whipped and I got like salt sweat in my eyes right as I was trying to make a shot. I missed it. I missed it. So I just got to get my headband, you know, game a little bit tighter, you know, and then I'll be in good shape. Final warning, guys, if you want to get in on these before we restock by sea, now's the time. lttstore.com, the new 40-ounce bottles, they're available in classic. So that's black and orange, black on black stealth, white and black, green and black. Can he name them all? Did I say gold and black already?
No.
Okay, and pink and white. This is my personal favorite. This is the least selling one. This is the one we have the most of. But you know what? I don't even care because I like it. All right, thanks for tuning into the stream, guys. We'll see you next time. Hope you enjoyed this nice little build here. I did. Oh, Robert Mitchell, we're going to have a car video coming very soon. The full review of the Volt, and then we're probably going to do something on the Model 3 shortly afterward.